Hi everyone, I got out some products that I like and I'd like to do a video on cat health, cat and kitten health. That way you know what to expect with your Maine Coon. They are purebreds, European purebreds, and they require a little bit different nutrition than your average cat and a little bit different care. So we're going to touch on some products today so you have an idea how to care for your Maine Coon and keep them healthy. So we'll start off with the food up here. We start them all, the kittens, on mother and baby right here. We have two different size cans, the 5-ounce and the 3-ounce. And when you take home your kitten, we place a referral with our breeders program for you to get 35% off your first Royal Canin order. So no matter what you end up feeding your cat, that's what they go home on, is mother and baby or the kitten. And you'll get a 35% discount with an email from us and Royal Canin, and we'll have recommendations on which food to use, because there's others besides this that we recommend. With the wet food, we also recommend the dry, mother and baby dry, and the kitten dry. And then there are Maine Coon kitten, which has the bigger chunks and different things that they like. Now, if you feed the same thing over and over again, they sometimes get tired of that and they eat less. So clients often call us about what to do when their cat doesn't want to eat this. So keep them on it as long as they'll eat it, and then if they stop eating it, there's other things you can try. Another good brand here is Roz. The Roz kitten right there is something I would try. They have the beef and liver recipe. They also have Roz tuna and salmon, I think. And this is Roz beef and liver. It doesn't say kitten, but it does. It's supposed to be for all stages of life. So Roz is a good brand after the Royal Canin. We have Origin. Origin's another good brand. They have different flavors. I just happen to have the red entree here in bone broth. So it's got beef. So the beef, Origin is good. Roz. And then we have Farmina. They have different flavors too. Chicken and pomegranate, and wild boar and apple. They have a pumpkin, so they really like this as well. It is a little bit more pricey than the Royal Canin, but and so is Origin. But I feed them whatever they'll eat and try to keep it as nutritional, for their growth and development as possible. High nutrition. Sometimes I will get bone broth, that's for cats and dogs, and add it to like the beef and liver, and this will refrigerate. Then there's some other foods here that I want to mention. Royal Canin hair and skin is nice for them. I mix that for my queens, and once they're over a year, I add that to their adult instinctive canned. Because once they're fixed, once they're over a year, you don't need the kitten. So they start with mother and baby, go to kitten, and then you can do adult. And we'll talk about dry after all this. But the hair and skin's nice. They also make a hairball that I will sometimes give them, because long-haired cats, the more you keep them groomed, the less hairballs they'll have, but they do get them sometimes, and it's important to help them to be hairball free. So sometimes when you mix this in a little bit with their food, I do it for 3 days. So if you got one cat, you take this and mix about a third of this in with it and put it in the fridge, and don't keep it in the fridge more than 3 days. So make sure you put a date on the top so you remember what date you opened it. So they have these little lids you can put on and keep it in the fridge. But yeah, just add it, either half a can or a third of a can, to their food for 3 days, and they'll feel much better. They won't be if they're coughing or anything, they'll cough it up and get rid of that. So that's important. And while we're on the hairball thing, I will mention they do have hairball treats. Churu does, the tuna recipe. And there's some other hairball products like hairball for cats. It's a gel or kind of paste. Over here is hairball pumpkin support by Nature Vet. And then under the weather hairball powder you can mix in their food. So those are options too if they're having any hairball problems. But it's good to give it to them now and then, even if they're not, just to see, because if they have anything, they will cough it up with that. So, all right, back to the food. So we have also, if they don't like these, some cats don't like the raws, and some don't like the Farmina, and some get sick of the Royal Canin. So we go to Nulo's, not bad. They got big cans if you have several cats. And then they got the small cans, so they make it in the pate, right there, or minced, because some cats like the kitten food, for instance. They have pate and shreds. When they're young, they like the pate, but as they get older, they prefer the shreds. Up to a year old, I use the shreds. So yeah, they have the pate and the minced in Nulo. Then there's Tiki Cat. They really don't like that as much, but sometimes I'll get a cat that's finicky that will eat it. And then there's Nacho brand. It has minced right there, and I will sometimes use that. So we have several different options of food over here. And these tuna fillets, I'll give those to them as a treat. They seem to like those occasionally. And then, like the outside cat, we'll get some Fancy Feast. Sometimes, you know, it's not the greatest, so I don't give it to my Maine Coons very often. But once in a while, I'll give them that because it's like it's a real treat for them, because it's like junk food for them. Anything in excess isn't good, so I do try to switch up the nutrition and add stuff now and then to keep them healthy. And we'll talk about additives here in a minute. But Fancy Feast, yeah, that's like a McDonald's French fries or something for them, because they really like that. Now, when I get ready to send kittens home, well, as they're growing, I sometimes use this growth boosting system. With any vitamins, let me just mention, more is not always good. Make sure you talk to your vet before you add vitamins to any of your food, because you do not want to overdo it, but you know, you want your cats healthy. So I do a growth boosting system, and I do it like every other day with kittens as they're growing, because I want them to have everything they need to grow big and be a nice size, because with the European Maine Coons that we breed, they get much bigger than the American lines. So we're pretty proud of the lines we have. So also immune health right there is nice before they go home, or even the first 30 days that they're in their new home. It's good to keep their immune system up, because it takes 3 months for a kitten to transition to their new home. And in that 3 months, the first 30 days is the most stressful. So we want to keep their immune system up when they leave, because even if they're not showing signs of stress, everything's new. They have new people, new animals to get used to. They are feeling stressed. And we'll talk about that in another video. But so for their immune system, I want to also mention these are nice. Sometimes I send them home with these, or do them like 3 days before they go home. It's a booster that is just in a packet that they eat. I sometimes mix it with food. And then for immune system too, let's talk while we're on immune systems. We'll talk about, let's see here, where is it? Vitamins. So over here, this is a new vet vitamin. If you mix a little bit with egg and give it to them in their food, or just with an egg, they will eat that. And it has different ingredients, so make sure you know what ingredients you're giving and how much your cat should have. And like I said, always talk to your vet about it. But the first 30 to 90 days, it's important to make sure they're getting adequate nutrition, because sometimes they don't eat well in their new home because of anxiety or whatever. So give them whatever they will eat. So I'm not like, oh, you got to feed them Royal Canin all the time. No, if they're not eating that, let's find something else they will eat, because canned food is extremely important. Even though our cats are genetically tested for the 2 kidney diseases and HCM, the heart condition that sometimes Maine Coons can get, it's important to get the moisture from the canned food into them to help keep their kidneys functioning properly, because you don't want your cat to get dehydrated and just eat dry food. Trust me, that's not, cats may live to 8, 10 years, maybe 12 years of age if they're not fed properly and getting the right hydration. Fresh water bowls every day, or your water fountains. They prefer moving water. Maine Coons will play in their water, so make sure if you're giving them a fountain, you change your filters weekly. And if you're doing a water bowl, you spray it with vinegar and clean it out daily, so that way it's fresh water. And I always send home a dog training pad to put under the water bowl, because Maine Coons do play in the water. They like water. Sometimes not so much a bath, but I can definitely help clients with the bathing process too, because once they learn that it's going to happen, they usually stop fighting so much. But we try to bathe them once before they go home, and then we don't recommend you bathe them the first 30 days. But after that, you should get them used to grooming, bathing, all that stuff at a young age. We recommend at least weekly brushes, and like every 3 months, a good bath would be nice. And I did a 55-minute video on bathing. I did it with Angel. It should be in our family group. But I also had a client having trouble with a year-old cat, a female. So I'll discuss how to do difficult cats too, very difficult ones, in a later video. So let's get back to immune system and vitamins. So we have the booster again, and immune active. Over here, kitten health, we have, this has DHA for brain development, and taurine. Taurine's good for their immune system. And it says for kitten health, you follow the directions on the back of that. And then over here is the lysine and probiotics. So one day I'll give lysine probiotics, the next day I'll give DHA and taurine. I just want to make sure I don't overdo it, so that's also keep these put up, because if they get into the packet and eat a bunch of them, that's not good for their kidneys or liver. So yeah, they seem to like these, and sometimes I send them home in our gift bags. But if I don't, you can look online for the bitables. They're relatively inexpensive, and they do make a difference. There's also some lysine for cats, supplements like that. And then there's also different powders you can use that has lysine support to keep their eyes healthy and respiratory system healthy and all that. So definitely check into vitamins that can help your cat. And here is like feline minerals too, and you would follow what your vet says in the directions. Over here, these are meal toppers. Sometimes I throw those in. And I don't do a whole lot of it, because like I said, anything in excess is probably not good. Like these nachos, they're meal toppers. But sometimes I have a difficult cat that doesn't want to eat their food, and they need the nutrition of either the mother and baby or the kitten for the first year. Some type of kitten, whether it be the Roz kitten or Royal Canin kitten, sometimes I will, if they're getting finicky about it, I'll put some lickable treat over it and stir it in it, and that helps them to eat. And here's a meal topper by Nachos, and Delectable also has another lickable treat. These I just found, so I want to mention these churros because they're more nutritious than the regular churros. So I like to use these on their food too to get them to eat more. So that's like a vitamin booster for their food. So you can get them to want to eat their food better. Here's some moisture-rich food topping that I sometimes will use. This Wellness with the Fancy Feast is more for the outside cat. And then, what is this? What is this for? Can't see without my glasses. Healthy ingredients, cat approved. I forget what I use this for. It's got bone broth, probiotics, and it says, let's see if we can get that in. Oh, for digestive help. Okay, so let's talk about their digestion. One client took home a cat and it had diarrhea for 6 months before they contacted me. Having diarrhea is not normal, so there's things we need to do. First, get a stool sample into your vet and check for parasites. So it doesn't matter if it has litter in it or not. Put it in a baggie and try to get it within 12 hours, but no longer than 24 hours to your vet to see if there's any parasites. If there's no parasites, then we need to look at probiotics and different things to help the diarrhea. They do make this for diarrhea, propectolin, that you can give your cat. But that's like for something, 2 or 3 days. So if the diarrhea is continuing, and you've added probiotics right here to their food, something like Biome or Purina makes a cheaper one, because this is Hill's prescription diet you get from your vet. Biome or there's like a similar ingredient in I forget which brand it is, but Duke's on it. I'll have to remember and add that later. But there is a cheaper non-prescription one you can get at PetSmart or other places that helps. It's like a fiber, helps keep them from having any kind of loose stools or diarrhea if it's just like a stress thing. Because like I said, first you want to find out if there's any parasites. You might want to try the Prolectin to stop it. It's kind of like Lamotil for adults. You want to put in probiotics for a week, and if you're still having problems, then you're going to want to switch foods. It's probably a food allergy. I had a cat once break out in sores on its back. It was a food allergy, actually. So sometimes you have to switch foods because of skin problems or digestive problems. Since I'm a breeder, I do use Breeder's Edge. So, I want all of our cats started on a very good, and Tammy too, she's excellent with this stuff. I want them started with, from when the cat is bred, the queen is bred, and the male is breeding her, nutrition, and in between too. So we have Be Strong with vitamins that I will add, Problem Male. They should make that for humans. Problem male. No, in between when we're not breeding the queens, because we don't overbreed our queens. Every 10 to 12 months, usually 10 months when they're younger, 12 months when they get older, because their health is important, because we like to breed them till they're 8 years of age and then retire them. We don't believe in overbreeding like some catteries will, because that can create all kinds of health problems for the cat. And we're all about, being RNs, we're all about health and nutrition. So we want them healthy as possible. We have an Oxy Mate, Oxy Mama, Oxy Stud for the males. We have an Oxy Mate over here when they're mating. So all these supplements we use, and we use conservatively, but we make sure they're getting what they need to produce beautiful, healthy kittens. So when you get your cat, you can trust that you're getting a healthy cat from us. We will never send home a sick cat. So the kitten ended up with a respiratory problem here, and I think that's happened once in 7 years. We would keep it longer and make sure it was healthy before we sent it home. We already talked about hairball support. That's for digestion. There's some more hairball. Hairball. This is for urinary problems. Kidney and bladder support. So if your cat is having trouble with any kind of urinary things, you definitely want to get a urinalysis with your vet. They can collect it, and they may recommend something like a supplement. But we don't have any of our cats on that. It's just something I'm showing you. Now for anxiety, we like to recommend quiet moments calming. It has melatonin and other ingredients, or calming bites. It helps with behavior and stuff, or travel, because some cats will get sick during travel. And here's melatonin drops for cats. We have some travel anxiety, homeopathic stuff, to stop the drooling, panting, vomiting, all that stuff. I have not personally tried it yet, but I plan to. Your cat can have some Dramamine. Ask your vet for the right dosage by weight, or call us. For travel too, Dramamine. Another thing is they can prescribe gabapentin, and gabapentin is really a excellent medication for cats when you're trying to get them used to something that is very stressful, like a bath. I will take 100 milligram gabapentin and mix it in water, and then take a syringe. Like I'll put 100 milligrams to 4 cc's of water. So every cc is 25 milligrams. And then for an adult cat, I'll give 25 milligrams and then wait about a half hour and then bathe it. Or for travel, sometimes I'll give 50 milligrams for a long travel, because it'll last for several hours, maybe even up to 24 hours. They'll feel calm and relaxed. And it's helpful to not put them through a lot of stress if they're flying on a plane or traveling long distance. So it just keeps them very calm. For a kitten, I will break it down from the 1 cc is 25 milligrams. I'll do a half a cc, which is 12.5 milligrams for travel when they're 12 weeks of age. I wouldn't give it to any cat under 12 weeks of age, but I do use gabapentin occasionally. And then they make calming spray. So when we send our kittens home, they have either calming spray on their blanket, or we've rubbed their blanket all over their mother. So we recommend you don't wash their blanket for 30 days so they can remember the smell of their litter mates and their mother. That helps make them feel at home at your house. Also pheromones. They make so many different kinds. So me and Tammy both have several different kinds going in our house. And you can look up the different kinds and what they do. But if you have several cats and they're fighting, try pheromones, or separate them, because they have things you can do to help them adjust to each other. Transitioning a new cat into your house is important that you don't rush it. We don't want the 12-week-old kitten that goes home scared, so we recommend you keep it in a room for 24 hours with its food and litter box, and then that way they can smell the other animals under the door. Then once 24 hours is up, maybe even sometimes 2 days, we say open the door. Don't carry them out. Let them walk out on their own so they know how to get back to where they feel safe. If they feel threatened by another cat or dog, they can get back into the room and make sure they have somewhere they can climb up, like a cat tree or somewhere, so they can feel safe, because that's important with transitioning. Milk. So once they start getting teeth and the mother isn't feeding them as much milk anymore, at about 5 to 6 weeks of age, they have KMR. The goat's milk they really don't like, but the KMR regular they like, and I'll mix that up in a mixer with one of those mixing balls in a container, and I'll give it to kittens. And then the second step, So that's usually for newborns to 6 weeks. And then it says 4 to 8 weeks old, KMR2. I give that all the way up sometimes to 12 weeks. And I even tell some people, go ahead and give it the first month with them being home. It's not going to hurt them. It's only going to make their bones stronger and make them healthy, and they love it. This is another thing they love. It's called Very Good Milk, and it's got all these nice things in there, like vitamin E and taurine and glycosamine and all this stuff. So for cats and dogs, it's vitamin infused milk that they just seem to love. So yeah, that stuff is important to keeping your cat happy and calm, because stress can cause their immune system to get lowered, and then they could get sick, and we don't want to see that. So then we have right here under the weather. So if your cat was getting sick at all, this stuff is a high-calorie food supplement for kittens that we like. I don't use this very often. Sometimes when the kittens are born and the mother, or during pregnancy, sometimes I'll give a little bit of calcium, and sometimes right after the kittens are born, for the milk production, I'll give the mother some of the oral calcium. But that's about the only time I use it. There's a million different treats out there, but they make baby tiki treats. The DHA I love for healthy brain development. Our cats are extremely intelligent anyway, but if you promote the DHA stuff for your kittens as they get older, up to a year, that really helps a lot, because our cats are walking on harnesses with leashes, and they're just highly intelligent and easily trained, even without boosting their brain power. But I like this. I like to feel like we're doing everything we can for them. Tammy will sometimes cook up salmon, and even give them, she orders quail eggs for the cats. So they're getting the best nutrition possible out of from two RNs that really care about their health. So this is the stuff we use. I don't know if I mentioned that nacho meal topper back there is duck and liver, freeze dried. But if you ever visit us at a cat show, they usually have a lot of vendors with natural products you can get samples of or buy from the vendors. Because like in January, we're going to go to a cat show in Chicago, and they'll have all kinds of vendors with different products. We recommend you going to a cat show at least once and checking it out, because you'll find all kinds of resources and information on how to keep your cat healthy, and you want them to live, into their 20s. So, we like to help our clients by educating them on how to help them live long lives. These, I don't know, I talked about the nutrition in these. This is just another cat treat like churros. They got Nulo cat treats. They got kitten churros, hairball we already talked about. And these are adult ones for, this is salmon, and I don't know what flavor that is. It's chicken and scallops. But I'll give a treat, maybe once a week or a couple times a month. And then these I'll give once a month. They're cat pops. And let me just set the phone down to open one. So let me show you what it looks like. And it's on a stick. I don't really like to let them just take the stick and run around with it, so I'll hold it for them, or I'll break it off and give it to them. Another thing, this is like, they really love this stuff, and they will actually try to grab it, and their claws, if they start to get aggressive with the treats in your hand, put them on a small paper plate and give it to them that way. It's not worth getting scratched or bit. And we'll talk about nail care too. Here's some more cat treats. Freeze-dried chicken breast. This is whole life cat treats for healthy skin, salmon formula. So yeah, there's a million different things out there. I say just don't do anything in excess, and they'll be fine. So some stuff they like better than others, and it's probably the stuff they like the most probably isn't the most healthy, but they're still getting really good nutrition with the dry food you're feeding and the wet food. So a few cat treats now and then isn't going to hurt them any. Now I'd like to talk about their dental and ears. So we've touched on the eyes. There is one more thing I want to say about eyes. Besides the lysine treats and stuff you can do for them with the DHA, taurine, lysine, and probiotics, if they were to start blinking a lot and having watery eyes, I suggest using a sterile saline wipe. Don't use your fingers, or put baby shampoo on a like a terry cloth and clean their eyes with baby shampoo and wipe them with water. If you don't have a saline wipe, do that. And then this is over the counter. You can get this at Walmart a lot cheaper. It's like $30 at Tractor Supply, but Walmart has it for like 10. So keep some of this on hand in case they start to get any eye junk, or because if you catch it early, it doesn't usually turn into a respiratory thing. So watch their eyes, because that doesn't always necessarily mean starting antibiotics and all that. It may just mean keeping their eyes clean for 5 days and putting eye ointment in it twice a day. Their water dishes, here again, do vinegar with it and wipe it out. And now let's talk about teeth, dental. They have this product called Plaque Off. It's a powder that you can use, so you can kind of look into that. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but cat treats help. Here's some Tartar Shield cat treats. Those are nice. They like these groovy chicken flavored dental treats. And they even make a lickable dental treat here. Kiss Meow Naturals. So you have all different kinds of treats you can try for the dental stuff. And then this for kittens. These silverine sticks, cat chews. If you don't want them chewing on your cords for your phones and stuff, or TV cords, get them some of these. They really help. And these, I think the cat took them. Oh, yeah, these cat treats also, or not cat treats, chew toys. They usually have a thing on the end of it, like a little crunchy thing that they can chew on. They love these. They love them so much. The one I had to show you, one of the cats already took. So they're just a little bit bigger, and they have like a brown thing hanging on the end that's crunchy. So you can get those. Look for those at PetSmart or online. They make, during the first year, you're going to see red gums because their teeth are coming in. It's called juvenile gingivitis. And, oh, here it is. Let me show you that real quick. So yeah, it has that thing on the end where it can chew it, and it chews this, and they love those. So juvenile gingivitis is a condition where their teeth are coming in, their gums are red. But they can get an infection during that time too with the teeth coming in. So you want to watch their gums. They make all kinds of things that you can do. They have a dental rinse with chlorhexidine and zinc for dogs and cats. They have this right here is a dog and cat spray you can put on like one of these things right here. These dental things you can buy and put it on there and rub it on their gums to assist in daily maintenance of healthy and pleasant smelling mouth for dogs and cats, and removes food particles. It just helps keep their gum line healthy, because just like any animal, they can build up plaque, and they can build up food particles in there, and they can get infections. So it's not always hereditary. You need to be doing things for your kitten during the first year to make sure that it's getting the plaque off. So invest in some treats. Talk to your vet about how often you should be giving them. You know, these sticks, they love chewing and those. So pay attention to their gums. You don't want after a year that, or maybe when they're 2 or 3, their teeth are falling out and the vet says they have to be removed and you are having to feed it mostly all canned food. So yeah, you want to pay attention to that. Vetrident is a water additive. This is nice, but you go through a lot because you would be adding it to their water fountain weekly or their bowl daily. So this can get quite expensive. But they do have this. This is a water additive, Oratine, enzymatic brushless oral care. You can try that in your water. We already talked about that one. Let's see what else we got. Toothbrushes. There's a toothbrush. There's different size ones for dogs and cats, but I personally prefer these little finger ones. Or where is the one? That's oral cleansing gel. That's nice because it sticks to these finger things a lot better than just a fluid. And then also we have Clinical Care enzymatic toothpaste for these that I'll put on. So there's a couple different options you can try for your cats and see what works best for you and what you like the best. But you do need to watch their gums. This is a smaller bottle, dental spray, so you can use that. You know, instead of the big water bottle additive, you can use the spray on your dental thing. And then these right here are dental wipes, which are nice for dogs and cats. So yeah, these are really nice. So you can use those too. So after we talk about dental, the next thing we should talk about is ears. So Maine Coons seem to build up more wax than other cats, and if they're shaking their head or they're acting like they don't want you to touch their ears, maybe you should look at their ears and see if there's junk in them. It may just be normal wax, it may not. So these are for the ears. They fit over your fingertip. Those are nice. It has like aspirin and some kind of aloe stuff and cleaning. So routine ear care for dogs and cats. This is a ear cleaner. It's an antiseptic, which reduces the risk of infection. Loosen wax, soothes with aloe vera. So it's for dogs and cats too. Now, if you're seeing some kind of fungal, if you suspect fungal, it's foul smelling or antibacterial or inflammation, here's some ear therapy you can buy, Dr. Gold's, and it has different properties. But if you try these things and they're still having problems or it reoccurs, take them to the vet and have them do a culture of their ears. Keep them off this for like 5 days, take them to the vet, have them do a culture and see if it's fungus or whatever, because if it is and this stuff isn't working, they may need medicated ear drops. So pay attention to their ear health too. I usually put like a flush in and then I rub their ears to where it gets way down in their canal, and then I will use these cotton wipes and tip their head to get the excess out before they shake it all over you. But yeah, these ear flushes and stuff, just depends on what's going on with your cat. Whether you think it's something that needs an antifungal property, an antibacterial property, or if this doesn't work, then you definitely would need to go to the vet and get a culture done of the ear. And they look at it under the microscope, so it doesn't take them very long to figure out what's going on. Then let's see, training. We'll talk about training in a minute, but let's go to worms. So cats, whether they're inside, outside, both, whatever, cats can get worms and they need to have some kind of prevention, even if they're inside full time. So once a year, it's nice to do Panicure. Panicure covers so much, like all kinds of intestinal worms, giardia, different things. So the fenbendazole, I like this paste. They also have a packet, even though it says canine dewormer, it is for cats. One packet treats 10 pounds. So this Panicure is nice. They also have different kinds of pyrantel, which I keep in the fridge. You can get pyrantel over the counter and do that, say once every 6 months. Would be nice. If your cat's going outside in the summer, though, you need something like Profender or Revolution Plus. This covers ear mites, fleas, ticks, and all the intestinal worms, and you put it on monthly on their back, the topical. Don't get the stuff at Walmart or whatever that is over the counter. Get it from your vet, because that other stuff doesn't always have the right properties in it. That stuff can kill your cat sometimes, makes them very sick. But Revolution Plus we recommend. We recommend Profenders for young kittens that are going outside. You don't want them getting fleas, ticks, ear mites, all that stuff. So during the summer months, that's something we recommend. But yeah, have them on a worming schedule, whether it's Panicure yearly or it's a pyrantel liquid that's in the fridge every 6 months. And if you have any questions, Google it or ask your vet or give us a call. We'll help you. So that covers that. These, I just wanted to mention these scoopers because they're so nice. It just saves your litter. And we use Arm & Hammer Clump and Slide. Or no, Clump and Seal is one, and Arm & Hammer Slide is the other. We like those. But this saves you a lot of changing litter because it really keeps it clean and fresh smelling. This is grooming gloves. They're nice sometimes. We use them. These are different brushes. So we did do a bathing video and touched on this, but this helps prevent your hairballs. So I like these combs. Try them. These have a cutting thing to get out mats under their arms or back legs, but be careful, they can cut the cat. So have somebody help you if your cat is difficult with grooming. I like these little things. I use them. I don't know if anybody else does, but this is like the very finishing one on the right side, and then the other one, after you've used the big ones to get the big mats out, go to a smaller one or one of these little brushes. I love this under their arms and stuff. I don't use this side of it, but I do use that side. So we have all different kinds of combs, brushes. I occasionally do use a slicker, but I'm very careful with that. This is a dematting spray I like to show clients. So all these combs and brushes are something you should have to keep your cat groomed and healthy and less hairballs. Try to brush them weekly and get them used to that. As they get older, they'll love it. One other thing I wanted to mention real quick before we wind this up is training. This stuff is called SCAT. And if you don't want them up on counters, it's motion detected, and it'll spray a boost of air at them. The battery's dead on this. It just did. But motion detected, it'll go shh, and it'll deter them from getting on a surface. So if you don't want them up on your counters or stoves, use this when they're young, because they will not like that, and that will scare them off the area. Some people use a water bottle. That's okay too, but I really prefer this versus a water bottle. Now, if I'm eating in the living room and they're wanting in my plate, I will use a water bottle. And then they learn. They don't, they're smart cats. That's not okay. I would not recommend feeding them people food and getting them into that habit. It will become annoying. They will kind of sometimes even get aggressive about it. So try to avoid feeding them people food, and use a water bottle if you're eating at the table or whatever, and use these on the counters to deter them from spots you don't want them on. They do work, motion detected, as long as you got the batteries charged. Calming. I haven't tried this yet, but I'm going to. It's called Relaxapet, and it's something you recharge and use, and I don't know subliminal sound system. So I'm going to try this for like when a new cat comes, and you're supposed to start them out like just an hour and work up to it. So I'm going to try that, and I'll let you guys know how that works, because I'm all about keeping them comfortable and not stressed and healthy. So I hope this video helps you guys. I know I covered a lot of products, and I didn't go into great detail about some of them, so you can look some of these up. And we send home a packet of normal vital signs, toxic plants, toxic substances. Know what normal vital signs are. Have a thermometer on hand. Have a little stethoscope where you can listen to their heart and count the beats per minute, so you know if your cat is sick, because cats are very good at hiding whether they're sick or not, because that's how they survive. They don't want to let on that they're sick. So it's always good to, if your cat just isn't acting quite right, get a temperature. Listen to their heart and count how many beats, and then look in the pamphlet we gave you, and it should tell you what normal is and what abnormal is. Like I said, watch their eyes. If they're blinking a lot or they have any discharge, get on it right away. Watch their teeth, watch their ears. I mean, this is all cat care maintenance. You want a healthy cat, and you don't want them hiding a problem. So, get good at monitoring them. Like I said, our cats are very healthy, but there's like 1 in 200 that may end up going home with an ear infection because they got water in their ear from a bath, or have a fungal infection in their ear from water from a bath. So yeah, just pay attention to their health, and feed them good, and always keep a large bowl of dry food. A large bowl of dry food full at all times. And one more thing about their bowls, they should be big enough where they don't, their whiskers don't touch, because there's something called whisker stress they can get, because the whiskers touching the sides of the bowls can stress them out. Believe it or not, it's a real thing. So we got big water bowls, and we got big food dishes, and we keep the dry food full at all times. So if you have a dog that wants to eat the cat food, keep the cat food up high. And there's different things you can do to make sure your cat's getting all the food it needs, because they start out growing very slow, but boy, do they get big. Our biggest Maine Coon was that we produced is 36 pounds. Our biggest female is 18 pounds. So our cats get nice size, and they're going to eat. So be prepared. I know a lady that has an 8-month-old. She's opening like 6 to 8 cans of Royal Canin a day for it, and you wonder where it goes. Well, it's going to be a huge cat. So feed it everything it'll eat, and if it's having trouble not liking something, switch, because the most important thing is getting calories, nutrition. You can add stuff if it isn't like, Tiki Cat isn't and Nulo probably isn't as good as the Rosin, Farmina, and Royal Canin, but there's things you can do to make sure it's getting proper health. But like I said, anything in excess is bad, and talk to your vet or call us. We're RNs, and we'll help you raise the biggest, most beautiful European Maine Coon you've ever seen in your life. Most of ours, I'd say 95% of ours, are show quality, where we would love for you to join us at a show someday, or at least stop in and say hi, because we like to show our cats and get a following that way, and see what the judges think of our cats. And the public usually visits the shows, and it's kind of a cool atmosphere. Like I said, there's a lot of vendors there. You can find new products, holistic products, and we're all about helping you guys and keeping your cats healthy. So thank you for watching, and personal message us if you have any questions.